Woof, 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 woof!
Pikachu.
Okay, yeah, I can talk English. Something's wrong with my ear. Anyways, I can talk English, but just, anyways. Battle intrigue! Milky uses bite. Does 5 damage.
Pikachu uses tail zabs.
Milky is so shocked by this that he takes 6 damage. Milky uses tail wag.
Pikachu is confused and tries to pet Milky, but loses his arm in the process. And then gets his arm back, because that's how he works.
Milky uses bite. Does 5 damage.
Pikachu uses Iron Tail. Does 5 damage.
Milky decides that he's had enough of Pikachu doing more damage than him, so he pulls out his best combo move. He uses bark and bite at the same time. Does 10 damage.
Pikachu's arms and ears fall off, and he is just very sad and wants to quit life.
But Pikachu decides he's not going to give up and uses Thunderbolt.
Does 10 damage.
Milky is so intrigued by this, he loses both of his ears. Milky uses Run.
Pikachu is so confused and starts spinning in circles. But this time he doesn't lose any body parts like almost every other attack Milky does.
And regains all of his limbs.
Because he's Pikachu.
And Milky decides that he wants his ear backs. Milky regains his ears. Pikachu uses Iron Tail. Does 6 damage. Milky uses Tail Wag and confuses Pikachu.
And Pikachu does not fall for the same mistake of petting him because last time his arm fell out. Pikachu uses Tail Zap but accidentally zaps himself too. Pikachu does 2 damage to himself and 3 damage to Milky.
Milky uses Bite. Does 5 damage. Milky decides he's had enough of this boo hockey and decides that he is going to take out Pikachu once and for all and uses Bite, Bark, and all his moves all at the same time. And Pikachu loses all of his limbs and is so stunned by this, he dies.
No, he does not die, he explodes.
And that is the sound of despair from Pikachu. Next up, Icy!
I see the shield, you'll never beat me.
We'll see about that. Also, I know that your insides are colors. Also, show me your belly.
No.
Knew you were self-conscious about your belly. Anyways, let's fight.
Icy uses Ice Spray and freezes Milky. Milky's frozen and cannot do anything. Icy uses Headbutt. Milky's unfrozen. Icy does 10 damage.
Milky picks up the shards of ice that Icy used on him and throws them at Icy. It punctures his belly 20 times and does 5 damage.
Icy isn't very effective from this, and takes out the ice shards from inside his belly and cracks them, and uses odd insides, and grosses out Milky and does 20 damage.
Milky decides he wants to take out Icy too, so he uses Bark and Bite at the same time. Does 7 damage.
Icy isn't very concerned by this, and and uses ice with spikes inside. He freezes Milky, stuck with swords inside of the ice he's frozen in. Does 25 damage.
Milky shakes and gets out of the iceberg and decides he wants to confuse Icy. Milky uses Tail Wag and Run at the same time. Icy's very dizzy and confused.
He doesn't feel like petting Milky because he is a very cute creature too.
And he has very short arms.
Yes.
Milky decides to take this opportunity to do something really bad to Icy. So he uses Bite, even stronger. Does 12 damage. Icy is surprisingly stunned by this and gets out of his confusion. Icy uses Ice Breath.
He freezes Milky, but since his ice breath was so powerful, Milky cannot be unfrozen for the next 10 rounds.
Icy decides to be too kind to Milky because he knows he is definitely something worthy of being unfrozen, and he tries his hardest to pick at the ice and succeeds. Milky uses Tail Wag.
Icy doesn't seem very affected by this and uses Bite.
Milky loses part of his forehead and all of his nose. Milky uses Tail Wag.
Icy gets so tired and just wants to go to sleep. So Icy leaves Milky alone.
Milky decides to take this opportunity to find his nose again and his front forehead. Milky couldn't find part of his forehead, but he did find some replacement noses, and now looks like this for the next battle. Milky uses Nose Poke on Star and Fireflower because Icy has decided to leave and surrenders. Icy is dead. So anyways, back to the battle with Star and Fireflower. Milky uses Nose Poke on both Star and Fireflower.
Star and Fireflower use invincibility fire. They make a giant fire around Milky that cannot be put out.
Milky is struck by this and says, "Hey, this is actually pretty fine," until the fire engulfs him. He decides to use his nose to stir around the fire and somehow is able to put it out. No one has ever done this before. Milky takes this opportunity and confuses Fire and Star with Tail Wag.
Fire and Star are technically not living. Fire and Star are technically not living creatures, so they aren't very affected by this, but they do get confused.
Milky finally finds a replacement nose, but it isn't very good. In the meanwhile, he just has a slanted nose. He's gonna have to get a nose job after this. Milky uses Bite. It takes off part of Fire's stem and Star's points. However, they seem to regain them back after a little while.
Star and Fire are slowly regenerating themselves and are unable to make a move this turn.
Milky decides to take this opportunity to find more pieces of his nose that are lost.
And Star and Fireflower are back and are still angry at Milky. They use Fireball and They use Fireball and Confusing Fly. Milky is very confused and has taken 10 damage.
Milky flops around until he finally gets back his confidence. And by this time, Fireflower and Star have prepared an attack. So he quickly whips up a bite on both of them.
This time, Star and Fireflower do not lose any limbs.
Although they do take 2 damage and lose their preparation for the next attack.
Star and Fireflower are so angry at Milky that they use Giant Explosion and it explodes Milky and explodes Milky. Milky is unable to battle for the next turn.
Milky can't respond.
Star and Fireflower use Confusion Flight and Ultra Fireball and do 25 damage.
Milky decides that a duel is too bad for him, and he needs to whip up something really, really powerful. So he takes all of his moves and uses them at the same time. Part of Fireflower and Star's parts have been removed. Fireflower and Star seem unaffected by this and regain their parts quickly.
And Fireflower picks up Milky's nose and forehead.
Milky picks it back up as he really needs a nose job, and he can't show up to the nose job without no nose.
Star and Fireflower are getting very, very, very tired, and are about to use their super special move on Milky, but it takes 1 round to charge.
Suddenly, Icy jumps back into the battle and realizes that Milky is in a different battle, and Icy decides that Milky would be too weak for these enemies and decides to take them out for him. Fire, Star, and Icy's essences have been removed from them, and Pikachu, well, I mean,
He sort of exploded.
But his essence quickly goes back into the circle formation and goes back to where all the other essences are. Milky picks up all these essences and gains 3 new moves. He gains Thunderbolt from Pikachu, Ice Breath from Icy, and Fireball from Fireflower and Star. Although this Fireball has been affected by Star, and he now has an invincibility Fireball, which if he uses on himself, he will become invincible, although take some damage. Hey, hope you enjoyed this video. Most things did not go as planned, but we kind of have to leave for something, so expect this video to be just a quick rush video, because we have basically nothing to do. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. And
we're missing one of right here. We're missing a block right. We're missing one right there. That's part of his leg, dude. Oh wait, we forgot to stop recording.
Peace, guys.